Let's Talk Money.
Hello and welcome to the first edition of Let's Talk Money. You might be wondering what I'm talking about. The first edition of Let's Talk Money in the new financial year. Yes, FY26 is here, and therefore we thought that it's a good time to start from the very beginning. A very good place to start. Financial planning. Why you need to understand the concept, why you need to spend some time and create the right financial plan for you. I'm, of course, your host and your friend, Surabhi Upadhyay, and today, to get us off to this good flying start, we have with us Kalpesh Ashar, who's a certified financial planner and also a registered investment advisor, and also Prableen Bajpayee, who's the founder of FinFix Research and Analytics. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. And let me start by wishing both of you, as well as all of our viewers, a very happy, new fiscal. May it be a prosperous one, may be a positive one for all of us. So some opening thoughts, and I want to start with sort of experiences because both of you interact with so many people, clients, money management, financial planning. The awareness is definitely increasing that I need to invest, I need to retire rich, all of that. But is the awareness for systematic financial planning, Kalpesh, is that also increasing now?
Okay, so first of all, thanks for having me on the show, Surabhi. And I like the new greeting which we've, just coined, which is Happy Financial Year.
Yes.
So I think that should go with everyone. So answering this question, Surabhi, surely financial planning, and I would put it in perspective, personal financial planning has come a long way. I think in the last 15, 20 years when before this, term was not even known to people and everybody just knew what are markets and what is fixed deposits, the concept of personal financial planning has really grown. And I would still like to add that there's a long way to go considering that we are evolving so fast in our finances, in our economy, on a personal level, everywhere. And nothing is more important than everyone's individual personal financial plan.
Absolutely.
Because if you can't make this as a generalized statement, it's everybody has got a different profile, everybody has different types of challenges, and everybody has different capacities to fulfill his financial life.
Yeah.
So financial planning per se has evolved.
Sure.
And earlier, which we used to just look at investments, now it's become more of a life planning concept.
Which is exactly what I wanted to talk about, and just bring in Prableen before we get down to the nuts and bolts of it. Prableen, because it's very true, even now I see a lot of people around me talking about buying a great mutual fund and you want to be with the best performer. People feel very happy saying, oh, I bought NVIDIA and then it, doubled or trebled. But, why is it important to not sort of be very picky about these one or two aspects of your investments or tax saving? Why is it important to look at it holistically?
So I think Kalpesh has already covered it. And Surabhi, it's so important because when we talk about investment planning or tax planning, that's a small component of the overall concept of financial planning. So financial planning and how you're going to manage your cash flows, your taxes, your investments, these are all the smaller parts within this overall journey. And it starts from you analyzing, how much you're earning and spending. And I think for all of us who keenly watch the budget, we want to know how much the government is getting as revenue, how much it's spending, what is its fiscal deficit, how much are they exceeding their revenue by. I think it all actually applies on to us as well as individuals. So we need to do that at an individual level where we actually need to analyze the same data for ourselves in our lives so that, we as just the way we are expecting the economy to do well based on, strong macroeconomics, our own personal finance has to be strong so that, we have a good, fruitful financial life for ourselves.
Okay. So we need to have a financial plan. The question is, how do we get one and how do we build one along with perhaps an advisor? So what are the first steps? So the first sort of principles, Kalpesh, that one must keep in mind.
So the crux of a financial plan, it should be directional and it should be goal-centric. It should be able to help the person achieve his or her financial goals in life. There has to be a purpose, there has to be a motive. So how do we go about doing that? It's very structured, and I would put it simply that it's a way of life. It's just simple common sense. And people normally, what they say is that common sense is not common. And that's why they complicate things. So in financial planning, we have, I would say, the 4 to 5 pillars, which we would like to incorporate in the plan. First and foremost is the cash flow, which is nothing but enumerating your income and expenses. Very, very important, nothing but a personal budget.
Absolutely.
And many individuals, many people who think they are financially savvy don't even, honestly speaking, know how much they spend per month.
Sure.
It gets down to that level.
Yeah.
And that is where the root cause of all problems lie.
Sure.
So first is understanding your personal cash flow.
Sure.
Second is, more importantly, understanding your personal net worth. And what is the net worth comprising of? It's all the assets which you've built up thus far, minus the liabilities.
The liabilities, the loans.
Loans.
The
So what do you have in assets? So you have your financial assets, your stocks, your mutual funds, your FDs, your bonds, and you have real estate. You have some investments in commodities, gold, and liabilities. So that could be your different types of loans if a person has taken, and even your credit card outstanding as on date. So that would give you a very pictorial and a numerative
what your net worth
is.
Got it.
The third part is basically, I would say, the heart of financial planning, which is understanding your financial goals. Because your income, expenses, and your net worth should be moving towards achieving your financial goals.
Yeah, they should be aligned, right?
Aligned.
Yeah.
Because that is where you select the right product to achieve your financial goals. And that could be different for each and every individual according to his life stage, according to his own perceptions and his shortcomings. So everything can't be hunky-dory. But for most of the people, if they give themselves a certain financial goal, say, for example, a short-term goal, medium-term goal, and a long-term goal, we can, as planners and advisors, channelize the right instruments and the products which help them achieve to the goals.
Got that.
And obviously, the most important last thing is protection. And how do you do that? Through ring fencing your assets or your day-to-day life through the right insurance. Because there's a lot of wrong insurance being sold and missold, I would say. So you get the right insurance, adequate insurance, and obviously create a contingency fund for yourself. Because what if you have a event which is not foreseen? So you can combat that without disturbing your financial plan.
This is very good. I'm going to recap this. 4 pillars. Make sure that you have your mind wrapped around them. Your cash flow, what is your net worth? Investment linked goal planning. So is it all aligned in one direction or not? And then, of course, insurance and risk mitigation. Extremely important to have that as you start off with your financial plan. So what we're going to do now is, Prableen and Kalpesh, is that we wanted to reach out to our viewers and we wanted to help them at least start off on that journey of creating a financial plan, seeing if their goals and investments are matching or not. So we've got 2 viewers joining us on the show today, and we hope to be able to help them with some advice. Jaya is the first one joining us on the show. Jaya, welcome to Let's Talk Money. Great to have you on. Tell us, how can we help you? Do you have a goal in mind?
Yeah, 2 goals. One is for travel to accumulate corpus of 20 lakhs. Another for retirement at the age of 50. Targeted corpus is 18 crores.
Oh, okay. So 20 lakh for vacations and 18 crores for travel. Clearly, the travel bug has, bit you quite a bit. But we need some more information as well, Jaya. Tell us a bit about your income levels, if you don't mind us asking.
Yeah, like monthly right now, I'm getting around 75K in hand.
Okay, so a monthly salary of 75,000. How much are your expenses and how many are fixed expenses? How much are you able to save or invest at the end of it?
My fixed expenses are right now about 20K because accommodation is provided by the company for me. So food and other accommodational expenses are about 20K.
Okay, that's great. And then with the money that you have left in hand, how much are you already investing? And also your
I'm
age.
30 and I'm investing 40K per month.
Oh, so you're investing 40,000 rupees every month. You're 30 and you have 2 goals in mind. One, build a pot for travel, and then, of course, build a pot for retirement. Got that. Prableen, let me come to you. And I must say, Jaya, compliments to you because you've managed to keep your expenses under check. You're already investing 40,000 rupees, which is a sizable part of your salary every month. So, really compliments to you on that. Prableen, what should she do? Where does she begin?
Absolutely amazing, Survey, because more than 50% of her salary is being invested, so which is great. So, the two goals that she's just listed out actually tells us that how important financial planning is, because I think more and more, many of us want to actually travel, and we do have the retirement as one of our very, very crucial goals. So for Jaya, if she's looking at a corpus of about 18 crores for her retirement, 20 years from now, she will require a huge SIP, which is actually about 1,80,000 a month if you're looking at 12% returns on her investments. Now, of course, I think 12% is a realistic estimate here, Surbi. But if she can step up, then somewhere around 1.3 lakh a month is what is required with a step up of about 5%. The investment that she is doing now, if we just utilize the whole 40 for her retirement corpus, then out of this, this 40 with a 5% step up can actually give us a corpus of about 5.5 CR in the next 20 years, which is much lesser than what she's expecting. And this 18 crores, what she wants in 20 years, would have a value of roughly 5.6 crores as on date. So the 18 crore in 20 years will be worth 5.6 crores of
because
today.
of inflation.
And so be for her, and for her travel goal, if you're looking at 20 lakhs without inflation, then all she needs to do is an SIP of 2,000 per month for the next 20 years. But if you're looking at a 6% inflation here, then the corpus need becomes bigger, about 65 lakhs. Then she requires about 6,500 per month for her travel goal. So inflation is something which really needs to be kept in mind. And we are not taking this 20,000 monthly expense, I think, to calculate her retirement requirements, because, I think it's really, really small as compared to what it would be if she's not getting the accommodation and once she has a bigger family size, perhaps.
Okay, so could you just repeat the advice on the SIP that she needs? She's already doing 40,000. So
Yes.
if she were to, either she has to obviously reduce her aspiration in terms of how much she wants to create for travel or retirement, or what is the other way, workaround, if at all?
So travel without inflation is only 2,000 a month, Surbi, which is easily doable. Travel with inflation is also about 6,500 a month, which is, again, I think not much because she's doing 40. But the 18 crore corpus, that actually requires a 1.8 lakh a month SIP, which is big. And she's only doing 40. So, 30 gone out of it. So still, there's a huge gap there. And if she's doing a step up, then it can help. But probably she could just keep doing her 40, and as and when the salary increases, she keeps increasing. Hopefully there will be a bigger jump in the salary, but for now she needs to sort of trim down on the corpus that she's planned for herself.
Okay, so a bit of a reality check sometimes is required. Kalpesh, very quickly before we move to the next query, what would you advise Jaya?
So I think absolutely Prablin has covered the thing. Just a little bit of input from my end regarding her travel goal, which she's putting. So rather than keeping the burden on the SIP, I would just ask her to divert, if she's getting any bonus or ad hoc pay in her job, of creating a corpus towards the travel expense.
Okay.
Because that is like a luxury.
Yeah, and you don't want to wait, 20 years to travel. You want to do it in the next 5 years.
5 years. So if she gets any bonus or an ad hoc, increment or something, that much part she keeps as a dedicated lump sum for a travel expense.
And let that compound.
And let that compound. And in that, even if not 20 lakh, I think again it's more about human behavior. If she's able to manage 5 lakh, she might as well go on a trip worth 5 lakh and enjoy that money. Why wait till 20 lakh?
Absolutely, take your point entirely. All right, we'll take a very quick break on that note. On the other side, we connect with one more viewer, try and get another financial plan going for them.
Let's talk money.
Welcome back. You're with us on Let's Talk Money, and this is the first episode of the new financial year, which is why we're starting from the beginning, which is setting in motion a very clear, very well thought out financial plan. So we've helped Jaya with some of her goals and her ambitions in life. We have now Ayush Ray joining us. Ayush, welcome to the show. Tell us, how can we help you? What's your goal?
As my financial goal is to create a corpus of close to 10 CR in the next 5 years. Currently, my existing corpus would be in the range of 2.5 CR. So the remaining 7.5 in the next 5 years.
Well, that's really precise, huh? You want 10 CR in 5 years. You've reached 2.5 crores and you want to cover the rest of the distance. All right. Some more inputs will help us. What about your monthly income?
So the monthly income is in the range of 4 lakhs per month.
Lakhs per month. All right. And your monthly expenses?
Currently, I try and make it a habit of investing 2 lakhs per month. And hopefully I would be able to increase that amount by cutting down some expenses, but that's the rough estimate.
Okay, so you earn 4 lakhs a month. You manage to invest half of that, which is also great. So, kudos to you once again. Let's ask the experts. So he's got a very precise goal, 10 crores in the next 5 years. He's already reached 2.5 crores. Now, is it even if he's all in equities, is it possible?
So first of all, Surabhi, both the viewers are utopian investors. I think if everybody invests more than 50% of their income into investments, it will be a great place for our markets, okay? And for them individually to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
So now on a realistic side, I think, again, congratulations to Ayush that I think he started early.
Yeah.
Because already, if he's made a corpus of approximately what he mentioned about 2.5 crore, that's pretty sizable.
Yeah.
The only thing what he, I think, needs to understand is that the target now, the journey forward, he needs to be a little bit more realistic because he's still wanting to get another 7.5 CR in the next 5 years.
Yeah, investing and 2 lakh rupees every month.
Per month.
Yeah.
And even if we do a normal conservative calculation at 10% or 12% on a CAGR, he needs to do a very sizable, I think, SIP of almost, if I'm not mistaken, a very large sum, which is more than his salary itself. So I think what he could ideally do is stretch his retirement or this corpus time horizon and go with a step-up type of a thing where he could reduce his expenses like what he said, if that's in his bandwidth, and try to achieve that corpus. But here he needs to be realistic because he's done the journey presently very, very efficiently.
Yeah. I just want to highlight this table that we have on the screen and what it illustrates. It's a really great one that Prableen shared with us. We're taking the example of someone who's doing a 10,000 rupees SIP, and let's say they want to reach their target retirement corpus by age 55. The earlier you start, the better it is. The person who started at age 25 gets to a corpus of 3.5 crores. Someone who started at 35, 1 crore. 40 years, you're only at 50 lakhs. If you start later than that, well, then, it's 23 lakhs, which is what? Not even peanuts when we're talking about retirement security. Prableen, anything to add to Ayush's query?
I think, Kalpesh has covered it. So amazing the way he's, but I think this table, Surabhi, which you shared in the example of Ayush, I think what we see is that compounding actually happens in a longish time period. So if you can allow a little more time for your money to work for you, I think it can be so much better. Because this example, which, you're flashing on the screen at 45, for example, if when somebody is starting and, we see just about 23 lakhs is created. This 20-year difference, we often, have this tendency of overestimating our earning capacity. So even if we are doing 4 times at 45 of what we were doing at 25, we will only be at 93 lakhs. If you're doing 8 times of what we're doing at 25, we'll still be at half of what we could have achieved by starting at 25. So we have to do 16 times of what we were doing at 25, Surabhi, when we start at 45 to be able to reach the same corpus. So I think Ayush has done a great job. And if the time can be just stretched a bit for him, I think the goal achievement can be so much easier.
Whether it's a wealth creation or whether it is weight loss, both become more difficult with passing age. It's better to start early, right? I think that's the rule that comes to mind. Absolutely. Ayush, hopefully that kind of helps you out. Now, I just want to end with some basic brass tacks rules that one must keep in mind. And probably let's talk about loans. We spend a lot of time talking about our investments. Perhaps not enough time is spent talking about loans. And I think one question that always confuses people is whether I should invest, whether I should, redeem a mutual fund and then, pay for a short-term goal, or whether I should take a personal loan. What's your preference here?
So I think dependence on debt is really rising, Surabhi, and that is one of the worries, I think, especially the today's generation. So we pick anybody, any example, I think, of course, a home loan is a productive loan. An education loan is a productive loan, but we are increasingly seeing personal loans, vehicle loans, and for discretionary spending, that bucket is really rising. So I think it's important to understand that if you're taking a loan, it should be ideally for productive reasons, which is your home and your education. Otherwise, one should try and trim it. And if you take an example, let's say, travel, because we've been talking about it all along the show. So I think if somebody wants to travel abroad and requires about 3.6 lakhs, it can be done by saving 20,000 a month. But you need that 18-month period to be able to achieve that 3.6 lakhs. And if somebody is really in a rush and says that, okay, let me just take a personal loan and go on my trip. So a personal loan costing him 14% will result in him or her paying an EMI of almost 12,300 for the next 3 years, wherein the interest amount, the extra that they'll end up paying is roughly 83,000. And if you're doing your own saving and going on the trip, Surabhi, that amount is free for you to save and invest later. And if you're doing this, taking this loan, not only are you paying this interest amount, but you can't channelize that amount because you're now paying an EMI towards any savings. So it is so important to keep your debt under check. So check your debt to income ratio, put all your EMIs together, calculate how much it is, and it shouldn't be more than roughly 30 to 35% of your take home. That is really important. And there are different ways of reducing your debt, either by following, the highest interest amount first, or maybe the smallest loans. But it's really, really important to clear out that bucket if you do have more than the home loan and education loan. So unproductive loans need to be cleared out first.
Okay, all right. That's very good advice, very well taken. Kalpesh, finally, to now come to final thoughts. You gave us the key principles of a financial plan, on which a financial plan will rest. What about the important steps or the rules, to follow through on that plan? Whether it's your expenses, whether it's that emergency corpus, whether it's stepping up your investments, what are some of the other rules that one must try to follow at least?
So a person should introspect first. And as I said, nothing more important than a cash flow. So in that, first just, create 3 buckets of needs, wants, and lifestyle. I think once a person, hand on heart does that, he will automatically be disciplined. And like Prableen gave the percentage, that even if you have a liability or you want to repay a loan or something, it should not be, according to me, more than 25%.
Sure.
Because then it starts eating into your lifestyle, your utilities, and even your savings and investment thing. Yeah. Second thing is, be very, very careful about the insurance part. Because that is one aspect in India where I have seen people are bleeding through their nose, yet they pay premiums in the wrong policies. Just a simple fundamental rule: insurance is for protection and investment is for growth. Please do not club both the other, each other, Keep it separate. Third thing is that investments which you make should be in products which are liquid, which are transparent, which you understand. I think, trying to be a part of the FOMO or the fad or the latest thing which gives you high returns in quick time, I think they fall flat and people have got stuck at the wrong end of the tunnel many a times. Sure. So they might be making money, but they've never created wealth. And that is, I think, the fulcrum of the whole plan, that we want to create wealth. And wealth is created by a thought and action.
Absolutely.
So I would like to sum it up in that have a goal, pursue it with discipline, and check your behavior.
Oh, absolutely. Very well said and very well summed up as well. I think if we can follow even 70 to 80% of this advice, we will, go a long, long way in realizing our financial as well as life goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kalpesh and Prableen, thanks to both of you for joining in on this first show of the new financial year. Well, viewers, hopefully you found that conversation useful. Keep connecting with us. Send us more questions, topics that you want us to highlight, and we'll take it up in the coming weeks. Thank you for watching.
Let's Talk Money